Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toys channel in Malaysia. Now, there's been a storm of controversy and discussion online over the last week after the realization that Hasbro Toys will now be phasing out the plastic window box packaging on their action figures. So this means that stuff that used to look like this, okay, where you could clearly see the look of the action figure that you were purchasing within the plastic bubble, stuff like this will now be a thing of the past and will now instead be replaced with fully sealed cardboard boxes that depict a photo of the action figure on the front. Some of these figures, like this Tatooine Boba Fett figure, have already started to arrive in stores in Malaysia. Now, naturally, in these current times, with action figures costing so much to own, I would say that the needs and requirements of the average collector have also escalated. We want our action figures to be perfect, and with the improvements in sculpting technology and paint apps over the last 20 years or so, we want to know for sure just how closely the actual figures look like to the images that are on the box and of what we've seen of them online. So stuff like errors in sculpting, bad paint apps, now these are no longer stuff that we can actually absorb. Not that we were ever actually able to, but it's definitely not something that we can live with anymore, not when the figures cost so damn much to own. Now, being an action figure fan and collector for as long as I've been, I remember a time being at the toy shops in the 1980s as a kid, just staring at boxes of toy products and spending hours just dreaming of being able to own them and having them in my actual hands. The thing is that a lot of these toys back then came in fully sealed boxes, and I'd never actually be able to see the actual toy. I'd see photos of the toy on the outside of the box, but never the actual toy itself. And it was enough for me to want to own the toy. And it was just such a different time. It's like, I guess when you were a kid, your requirements aren't as great as when you are an adult collector, for sure. But I think even back then, we would have probably known if a toy would turn out to be pretty sucky or if it was like crap. And I think that there's just something about the level of quality of the toys back then that gave us this sense of assurance that we just knew that this was a high quality product. They just wouldn't mess around with it. There's just no way that they would be able to screw it up. It's like I could take this Kenner mask firecracker box, all right? A lot of the stuff from Kenner, especially, in fact, came in fully sealed boxes. But you see how in the front of the box, you get a beautiful fantasy illustration of the toy. And it's just an illustration. It's not even the actual toy. But when you flip it around to the back of the box, you get a full actual photo of the item that you're purchasing, the vehicle that's in the box, and you get a breakdown of all of its components. Okay, just they cover every single aspect of the vehicle. So yeah, nothing is left to chance here. And then all around the box, there will be actual photos of what the toy can do. All right, everything they can do, whatever gimmicks it might come with, whatever accessories are included, it's all there. All right, every piece of information that you need to know about the toy is explained to you on the box itself, even though it's sealed. Now, these sets also came with human action figures, and the human action figures look just like they did on the packaging box photos. If I were to put this actual action figure of the Honda McLean driver figure for Firecracker right next to his photo, you can see they're exactly the same, right? So I believe that back then, the quality control on these things was so strong that there was trust built within the consumer. You knew that the toy that you were getting was going to be exactly as advertised, even if you had to pay for it first before you could open it and see it for yourself. And it also helped that toy companies like Kenner always used to stress in their packages that they really did care. Okay, if there was ever a problem or dissatisfaction with your toy, you could always reach out to them. Now, naturally, action figures and toys at retail have gone without plastic window boxes in the past, especially when it comes to toys that are aimed primarily at a very young audience. Now, one of the earliest examples of this that I can remember was Kenner's Jurassic Park line in 1993. I remember this vividly because the dinosaurs would be literally out in the open. You could touch and hold them. And one of the reasons for this as well was to give consumers the ability to be able to feel the specially textured rubber material that was used on the creature's skin. Now, this was to give it the feel and appearance of real skin, which was an innovation at the time for toys. And I remember thinking to myself, how would they be able to prevent theft or damages with an open box concept like this? But this style of open box packaging is something that the Jurassic Park brand retains to this very day, nearly 30 years later. Now, when it comes to Hasbro's brands like Transformers, there's always been a mixture in terms of sealed and plastic window boxes. Large-scale Transformers always did come in fully sealed boxes. Now, this is something that was pretty much in place all the way back even in the 80s with huge-scale Transformers like Fortress Maximus and Scorponok, and all the way until today with Titan-class figures like the Ark here. And then you also have many other Transformers that come with either plastic window boxes that allow you to see the entire figure, or even some that only show you a portion of the figure, like Cyclonus here, where you see him pretty much from the waist up, but you do get to see all the sculpting on his face quite clearly. Now, I've shown you examples of toy packages that were either fully sealed in cardboard boxes, and also examples of toys that have been going out with fully open window boxes for years. But when it comes to stuff like Hasbro's Marvel Legends, I will say that it is hard to imagine them just being in a cardboard box. A lot of these figures are based on movie properties and use actual actor likenesses. You're going to want to see these actual likenesses for yourself, just as closely as the sculpt of the Hugh Jackman Wolverine that I'm holding up here. Now, a photo on the front of the box is just not going to be enough. Interestingly as well, when you look at the direction that Hasbro has taken with their new Transformers Legacy line that's aimed at both mass consumers and collectors, you see how they've omitted the plastic, but instead of a fully sealed box, you get a portion of the box exposed to show you the actual figure from the waist up. Now, can we have something similar with Marvel Legends and Star Wars? Naturally, the challenge there would definitely be in avoiding theft. A lot of the Marvel Legends figures have head sculpts that are highly desirable and can be easily ripped out of the packages. For example, this Captain America movie figure has one of the best face sculpts ever produced, either masked or unmasked. So if someone had a ton of Captain America figures before this, it's possible that only the head sculpts on this particular figure would be of particular interest to them, and may possibly lead to them wanting to rip it out and take it home. I don't know, okay, but it's happened. Perhaps one way around it would be to dramatically reduce the use of plastic instead of eliminating it entirely. And you could have maybe a small plastic window here that shows you the face sculpt of the figure, the most important part, as many would agree, and just leave it at that, okay? Just a small plastic window there to show you the figure's face. Now, what do you guys think? Anyway, as more of these fully sealed Hasbro packages start hitting stores, I'm sure many of us will be observing the sets with great interest to see how we feel about them in person, and also how the collecting community will be reacting. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys again real soon with more content. Thank you and take care.